What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate's the Angels cannot lose today. If you're watching this,
That's
if you're
true.
watching or listening to this show on what's today, Thursday. Angels cannot lose. But how you doing?
That's great. Yeah, we can't lose today. It's good.
Big news there. Big news coming out of the Angels camp. But first, before we get that rolling, just want to thank you all for listening and watching this podcast here. If you could, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are not subscribed, let us know. Leave us a comment. Let us know how you feel about the show. You can follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Timms, Nate at NateGreen34. Hang in there with Nate today. As you can tell, he's kind of in a different location. He sounds a little bit weird, but we still love him. It's all good. Make it work. Again, big news coming out of the Angels camp today. Big news? Is it big news? Big enough?
News?
Big enough news. It's news. We're talking about it, right?
Big news for Angel fans.
Big news for Angels fans. News for others. Jared Walsh and David Fletcher back up with the big team. How you feeling about this? Besides, I'm going to take your thunder here. It's a money thing. I know it's a money thing. They send down Jordan Adams and Kyron Paris. Had to think about that there for a second. But how you feel about these moves? Going to be a game changer? Do we see them being on the Angels next season? Would be my first question.
Jared Walsh, no. I don't think Jared Walsh is on the Angels next season. I think that he will be a non-tender candidate for sure. David Fletcher, because of the long-term extension he signed right when Perry took the job, it's going to, long-term, I guess. What was it, 5 years? 5 years is considered long-term, I guess.
Kind of just bought out his rookie contract in a sense, right?
Yeah, a little bit. So I think Fletcher's back just because of the contract. Walsh, non-tender candidate. I think he for sure gets non-tendered and gets a chance somewhere else. You know, maybe a Kansas City or Detroit, somebody like that who just is like, well, we need someone for a couple of years, and hopefully it works out.
Absolutely. Or one of those two, the next guys that you expect to be off the Angels on that never-ending carousel of guys getting let go?
They're on the list for sure. Yeah, they definitely on the list. They weren't top on the list, but they're on the list.
Yeah, no, and I'm first off excited to see hopefully a healthy Jared Walsh back, because a healthy Jared Walsh is a good Jared Walsh. I think that's fair. Like, he was an all-star. He's hit 30 plus home runs in a season. Like, there's something there. A good David Fletcher helps the team as well. At the end of the day there too. So I know that the Angels have a lot of David Fletchers, and I don't know if you can hear me or not. You look like you're frozen there, big guy.
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
No, that's good. That's good because you're kind of frozen on the screen, but we'll make it work. I think a capable David Fletcher, a competent David Fletcher, somebody who's batting, has an 80 to 100 WRC plus, playing good defense and can play multiple positions, is a need that all teams have. And that's the way that I've viewed him his entire career. I don't want David Fletcher starting every day. But if he's a guy who can play, a different position every single game or every single day, and give some guys, rest and things like that, I'm okay with it. David Fletcher. Where Jared Walsh fits in the mix, the Angels are losing a DH next year. So that's a possibility for sure. I don't know, if that's the answer, but if he comes back, he's healthy for the rest of this, 15 games, and you don't non-tender him and you bring him back in spring and he's healthy, maybe he's a DH of sorts. Maybe somebody who can play the outfield. But I don't know, spell Nolan Shanwell, but I don't see anybody taking Nolan Shanwell's spot unless Nolan Shanwell loses that spot. So I don't know if you have any disagreements there with me on that side of stuff.
Well, I just don't want to see Jared Walsh as a DH and locked into that spot. I would really like to see the revolving door with the DH next year if Shohei Ohtani doesn't come back. Like, I would love to see Mike Trout continue to be an Angel and DH once or twice a week. Anthony Rendon DH once or twice a week. Drury DH once or twice a week. Taylor Ward DH once or twice a week. And now all of a sudden you're 5-6 games and now everyone's DH once or twice a week, and you're keeping everyone healthy, but you're keeping everyone in the lineup.
So like a healthy Walsh against righties is really, really good, actually. Yeah. A healthy Walsh. And I would take that. Like, and then against lefties is those days you give guys off. Like Trout versus a lefty, you get him DH, you know, or Rendon or guys like that, or you see Adele in that spot, yeah, something like that. I don't want to. I would prefer not to see him penciled in, especially if he's not healthy. But if he's healthy, he helps the team and he fills a spot. And I think that might be as a DH of sorts. That kind of interesting. Didn't think about it. Oh, saying hi to people. Hi. Yeah. All right. All right. So, other things that we want to talk about, Nate. How do we want to talk about? Do we want to do the 40-man thing?
No, let's wait till let's go Sunday with that.
All right. All right. All right. All right. What else you got? What else you want to talk about then today? We want to talk about the David Fletcher stuff and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about David Fletcher for a little bit.
Oh, okay. What do you want to talk about with David Fletcher? Because I know you just want to piss some people off right now. So go ahead. You haven't been able to piss anybody off. Go ahead.
Isn't that fun to piss people off? Honestly, yeah. David Fletcher being up right now, it just reminds me of what Trea Turner's been able to do over the last month and a half. I know. See, and you wanted me to piss people off, so here we go. I'm pissing people off. Yeah. So what they're able to do with Trea Turner, you see what Trea Turner's done. Would he have made a difference on this Angels roster? I think so. Don't you like? Let's be honest here. Everyone wants to say Zach Neto's been up for 150 games. He's been up for 70 games right now. He has not played every single day. He's been hurt. Angels would be 100% better if Trea Turner's on this roster, moving Zach Neto to second base. Right? We all forget that Rengifo was kind of worthless up until the middle of July. Right? Like there were people calling for Luis Rengifo to be cut.
About the same time that Trea Turner turned it around?
Yes, but Trea Turner would be playing in Anaheim, not in Philadelphia, where things are a little bit easier to play in. And I think there'd be a little bit more of a comfort. He'd be leading off. There's just not as big of expectations in Anaheim as there are in Philadelphia with the fans and things like that. So I think he probably would have been a little better in Anaheim. And you just look at what Trea Turner brings to the lineup. He brings an everyday leadoff hitter. The Angels have not really had an everyday leadoff hitter. They've tried everyone at leadoff. Nolan Schanuel. You look at Taylor Ward's let off. You look at Luis Rengifo let off. Zach Neto's even let off a little bit. Like they've kind of been a revolving door at that spot, and you could kind of pencil in Trea Turner as the leadoff guy every single day, and it makes things a whole lot better.
Yeah, and you look at let's start where this came from. You decided to remind me that Trea Turner was somebody that Artie Moreno was pushing on Perry Minasian and staff. Here's the exact quote. I don't know where the quote came from. Trying to remember where it came from. I think it was SI Sports Illustrated, something weird like that. I kept saying, this is from Artie Moreno. I kept saying, what about Turner? Is this what we need? Moreno says, Minasian, he says, told him the Angels had multiple needs besides shortstop. So basically spread the wealth in a sense. I said, you mean you need more than just Turner? I do agree with Minasian there. You needed more than just Turner, but it's a good building stone. I would rather have Trea Turner as a a stepping stone, a somebody to build around. Reno says, he says, yeah, so it's about the distribution of money. So basically Perry wanted to distribute the money. With that being said, we can look at the stats that Trea Turner has put up this year. Not saying that Trea Turner would be an Angel, but 142 games there at shortstop, 26 home runs, 94 runs, 75 RBIs, 27 stolen bases. He's put up a 111 WRC plus, slashing 270, 321, and 472 with a 3.8 Fangraphs WAR, 35.5 career Fangraphs WAR, by the way. So working his way to a Hall of Fame career. I don't disagree. I agree and disagree with both of these statements, by the way. I think that it's good to distribute the money, but with where the Angels are at right now, Trea Turner, and knowing you have a shortstop of the future, and knowing not that Zach Neto's not, because I think Zach Neto would be fine at second base while he is learning how to play shortstop from one of the better shortstops in baseball, by the way. So that's where I tend to flip the corner there on that side of stuff. But you have a leadoff hitter, like you said. You have a potential Hall of Famer in Trea Turner, and you have him for long term. So
He didn't get too much money. Well, like 27 mil. Like it wasn't everyone was expecting the 35, 40 billion for him. Like everyone was
Yeah.
expecting way more than what he got. So if that was the case, where it was really only 27 and a half, and you look at what we did, we gave Hunter Renfroe a lot of money. We gave Tyler Anderson a lot of money, and I'll bring up Tyler Anderson until I'm blue in the face with how much money we gave him.
Carlos
Uh,
Estevez.
Carlos Estevez got a lot of money for a reliever where we could have kind of found someone to do the same exact thing.
Aaron Loop, Ryan Tepera. Yes, the list goes on. I gotcha.
You go on and it's like, yeah, we could mix and match this 28 million, and it's like we didn't really lose anything. You would lose Estevez, Loop, Moore, and Tepera, and you're right there. And you, instead of those four guys, you go ahead and throw some minor league free agent guys, and all of a sudden you're right at where you're at. So yeah, that's where I was at with the Trea Turner, David Fletcher. That's what really sparked things up, is David Fletcher coming back to play shortstop. So
yeah, no, and I fully agree with you. Well, if he's playing shortstop, we don't know that.
he probably won't even play too much, honestly.
Yeah, a money saving move for sure. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Like we've been saying this forever. You build up the middle. The Angels haven't really done that. And especially if you're going to sign a big name, you want to sign that big name up the middle. Angels have signed guys: Albert Pujols, first baseman, or Anthony Rendon, third baseman. Sure, they extended Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani halfway up the middle. I guess you signed a pitcher there, but
yeah,
yes. But yes, I'm in agreement there with you. I think the Angels needed a shortstop, and for all intents and purposes, the Angels still might need a shortstop. You don't know what Zach Neto really is. He's played, like you said, 65 games. And nothing against Zach Neto, who's a friend of the show. Fantastic human being, and I fully think that he is the shortstop of the future. But it wouldn't be a bad option to have said, hey, Zach, you can either stay down the minors, or we're going to bring you up and play second base to play next to Trea Turner. Or, I mean, even Trea Turner becomes expendable, and you might be able to move Mike Trout to a corner and put him in center field, and then Zach Neto's your shortstop down, a year or 2 years down the road. So, yes, I agree with you there on that side of stuff. Now, on the flip side, I'll say this: it's a good stepping stone to build with a guy like that. I've also been saying you can't build with Shohei Ohtani. And I don't know where I stand on that, at the end of the day, because you could spend $30 million on Shohei Ohtani and then continue to build the farm system. But we've been here and done that before. I just, I'm at a loss there, so like for me, and my last question that I'll ask is like, what's the difference between signing Shohei Ohtani, which everybody is going to hate that we say it all offseason, please don't sign Shohei Ohtani, and we want Trea Turner for maybe half the price of what Shohei Ohtani is going to end up being.
Yeah, well, that's the first big option. Is it's probably half the price, 27 and a half compared to about 50 million that Shohei is going to be getting. So that's number one. Number two, Trea Turner is a cemented middle infielder. He's going to play up the middle for the foreseeable future. We don't know how long Shohei Ohtani is going to pitch for. It could be 1 or 2 more years. It could be he might not pitch again. And if Shohei Ohtani is a $50-60 million DH, that's a very expensive DH only. So that's why
he makes money.
Yeah, no, he does make money, but like if you're trying to build a winner and things like that, not that you can't win with Shohei Ohtani. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that Trea Turner plays a very important position compared to DH, and we just don't know how long Shohei Ohtani is going to be able to do everything for. And I said before the injury 3 more years. Now with the injury, it's maybe 1 or 2 more years that he can really pitch at a high level as a starting pitcher. So that's to go along with the salary. Now you've got the positional value. It just makes way more sense to bring in a guy like Trea Turner.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, with all that being said, just want to thank you all so much for listening and watching this podcast. Nate, you got anything else before we let everybody go?
Jaime Barria.
He's hurt. You can't say that. That doesn't count.
I
Jose Suarez is back for you, though. You're welcome. So you're welcome.
Okay. We'll throw Jose Suarez on there for you. Jose Suarez, it's time to DFA him.
That won't happen. They like him. They like him as a starter, so that won't happen. Good try though. I would agree with the other ones, but I don't think
if it happens though, then
Yeah, I'm going to ask who your source is if that actually happens. So, and I know you don't have any sources. So, with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell so you guys know when this podcast comes out. Stick with us through the offseason. Going to have a lot of fun interviews. Offseason is always an absolute blast. Love talking offseason baseball. Follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Tim's, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.